In this video, you will learn why broccoli is not as harmless of a superfood as we have been led to believe. We will examine 10 serious issues that may be hidden behind its green florets, from hormonal imbalances and stomach irritation to interactions with medications and even unpleasant body odor. You will hear real stories from American patients, recent scientific studies, and advice from medical professionals in the United States. If you eat broccoli every day, be sure to watch until the end so that you do not harm your health. This video is going to be incredibly informative and helpful. If you want to take control of your health like a pro, give it a like, and let's get started. Problem 1. Broccoli may interfere with thyroid function. In the United States, about 12% of the population experiences thyroid problems during their lifetime, and more than 60% are unaware of it, according to the American Thyroid Association. The most common form is hypothyroidism, in which the gland does not produce enough hormones. This condition is associated with chronic fatigue, weight gain, swelling, and depressive symptoms. Women over the age of 40 are especially vulnerable to this condition. A study conducted by the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences in 2023 found that in people with iodine deficiency and already reduced thyroid function, regular consumption of raw broccoli led to an 18% decrease in thyroxine levels over a 2-month period. The reason is the presence of goitrogens in this vegetable, natural substances that block the absorption of iodine, which is necessary for hormone production. Dr. Christopher Reed from the state of Montana, an endocrinologist with 20 years of experience, spoke in 2022 about one of his patients, Laura Harris, 56 years old. She followed a plant-based diet and added up to 150 grams of raw broccoli to her smoothies every day, believing it was beneficial for detox. After several months, she came in complaining of weakness, sleep disturbances, and constant chills. Tests revealed significant hypothyroidism. After eliminating raw broccoli and starting iodine supplementation, her condition stabilized. If you do not have thyroid problems, moderate consumption of broccoli is safe. However, in cases of reduced thyroid function or suspected iodine deficiency, broccoli should only be consumed after thermal processing, by boiling or stewing it for no less than 8 minutes at a temperature above 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit, in order to destroy the goitrogens. In cases of thyroid disease, it is essential to consult an endocrinologist before including broccoli in your daily diet. Problem 2. Broccoli causes bloating and gas. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, more than 25 million adults in the United States report regular bloating each year. And this is not just mild discomfort after eating. For millions of people with sensitive digestion, it is a daily struggle that affects mood, sleep, productivity, and even self-confidence. These symptoms are especially common among women between the ages of 40 and 60. There are many causes, but one of the most common is the consumption of foods that contain raffinose and insoluble fiber, such as broccoli. Broccoli is a vegetable with a reputation as a superfood, but few people talk about how it can actually be the source of heaviness, rumbling, pressure, and unpleasant bloating. Raffinose is a complex carbohydrate that is not digested in the small intestine. It reaches the large intestine, where it becomes food for bacteria. During fermentation, a large amount of gas is produced: hydrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide. These gases are responsible for the discomfort and even pain. In a study conducted by Harvard Medical School in collaboration with Massachusetts General Hospital in 2022, 186 people who suffered from chronic bloating and discomfort after eating participated. Researchers removed broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables from their diets for 4 weeks. As a result, 74% of participants reported a significant reduction in symptoms during the first week. This confirmed that broccoli, although a healthy vegetable, can be a trigger, especially in people with heightened sensitivity to FODMAP components. Dr. Rachel Sanders from Chicago, a gastroenterologist with 15 years of experience, shared the story of one of her patients, Jennifer Moore, 47 years old. Jennifer led an active lifestyle, ate a balanced diet, and consumed a large amount of leafy greens. She began eating broccoli daily, steaming it in the microwave and adding it to her lunch. After 2 weeks, she started experiencing constant bloating, heaviness, and rumbling. At first, she blamed stress, then digestive issues. When she consulted Dr. Sanders, broccoli was eliminated from her diet and a gentle FODMAP diet was prescribed. Within just a few days, Jennifer's condition began to improve, and within 3 weeks, the unpleasant symptoms disappeared entirely. If you notice that your stomach feels heavy, bloated, or gassy after eating broccoli, especially if you have irritable bowel syndrome, try cutting out broccoli for 2 weeks. It is best to avoid eating it raw. If you want to retain its beneficial properties, steam broccoli for at least 10 minutes at a temperature above 85 degrees Celsius, 185 degrees Fahrenheit. This will partially break down the raffinose and reduce gas production. If the problem persists, consult a gastroenterologist and get tested for sensitivity to FODMAP-containing foods. Problem 3. Broccoli may cause digestive issues. According to the American Gastroenterological Association, more than 60 million Americans experience digestive problems at least once a month. Among them, more than 20% report regular symptoms such as heaviness after eating, stomach rumbling, cramps, and abdominal pain. These issues are especially common among women between the ages of 45 and 60. Many of them believe they are eating healthily, including regularly consuming broccoli, which is often seen as a symbol of a healthy diet. However, not every digestive system is ready to handle daily servings of this vegetable, especially in its raw form. The root of the problem lies in the complex carbohydrates and fiber that broccoli contains. In order to break them down, the body requires specific enzymes produced by the pancreas and the small intestine. In people with reduced enzyme activity, a condition found in approximately 28% of the population in the United States, according to the Cleveland Clinic, this process is impaired. As a result, undigested fibers and sugars reach the large intestine, where they ferment and cause cramping, pain, and bowel irregularities. Some people experience alternating constipation and diarrhea, while others describe a constant feeling of heaviness, as if food is stuck and not being digested. A study conducted in 2021 by Mayo Clinic's Division of Gastroenterology and Hepatology involved 312 patients with complaints of chronic digestive discomfort. All of them were diagnosed with enzyme deficiencies, primarily lipase and amylase. As part of the experiment, participants eliminated broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables from their diets for 6 weeks. More than 68% of participants reported that symptoms such as heaviness and abdominal pain disappeared and bowel function normalized. Some patients were also prescribed enzyme supplements, and even after reintroducing broccoli in boiled form, symptoms did not return. Dr. Mark Bauer from Austin, Texas, a gastroenterologist with 20 years of experience, shared the story of one of his patients, Michael Williams, 53 years old. Michael reported frequent abdominal pain after lunch and a persistent feeling of fullness that lasted until evening. He worked as an accountant and usually ate lunch at the office. Broccoli in a container with chicken was his standard meal. Tests revealed mild enzyme deficiency and difficulty digesting carbohydrates. After eliminating raw and lightly cooked broccoli and starting to take enzymes before meals, Michael's condition improved within a week. If you notice heaviness, cramps, gurgling, or irregular bowel movements after eating broccoli, especially in raw form, it may be a sign of enzyme deficiency. Start by removing broccoli from your diet for 2 weeks and monitor your body's response. When reintroducing it, be sure to consume it only when well cooked. Stew it for no less than 15 minutes at a temperature above 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit. Additionally, you may want to consult a gastroenterologist about the possibility of taking digestive enzyme supplements temporarily, especially if you are over the age of 50. Problem 4. Broccoli contains substances that interfere with mineral absorption. According to the National Institutes of Health Office of Dietary Supplements, approximately 10 million American adults suffer from deficiencies in iron, calcium, or zinc. These trace elements are critically important for bone health, blood formation, immune function, and even emotional well-being. Deficiencies are especially common among women over the age of 50, as well as vegetarians and people who follow plant-based diets. At first glance, broccoli seems like an excellent replacement for animal-based products. It does contain calcium, iron, and even a small amount of zinc. But there is another side to the story. Broccoli contains phytates and oxalates. naturally occurring substances that bind minerals in the intestines and prevent them from being absorbed. Simply put, you could eat a meal rich in iron, but if it contains a large amount of broccoli, your body might absorb only 20 to 30% of that iron. This becomes a significant problem in cases of anemia, osteopenia, or low bone density, conditions that already require mineral support. In a study conducted by the Tufts University Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging in 2022, scientists observed 168 women over the age of 60. Those who consumed large amounts of broccoli and spinach while maintaining low intake of animal protein had 37% lower levels of absorbed iron compared to women with more varied diets. Many of them also showed early signs of osteopenia, reduced bone mineral density. Dr. Julian Barrett from Seattle, a clinical nutritionist specializing in older adults, shared the case of one of his patients, Caroline Miller, 62 years old. She followed a strict vegan diet and proudly described broccoli as her main source of calcium and iron. However, after a year and a half, she began to experience muscle cramps and severe fatigue. Lab tests revealed significant deficiencies in iron and magnesium. After adjusting her diet, introducing iron-rich legumes, and eliminating raw broccoli, her condition began to improve within a month. If you follow a plant-based diet or have been diagnosed with anemia, osteopenia, or mineral deficiencies, do not rely on broccoli as your main source of iron or calcium. To reduce the effects of phytates and oxalates, always cook broccoli by steaming or boiling it for 10 to 12 minutes at a temperature above 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit. In addition, avoid combining broccoli with iron-rich foods, such as lentils or iron supplements, in the same meal. It is best to leave at least a 2-hour gap between them. Problem 5. Broccoli can be risky for people with kidney disease. Approximately 37 million adults in the United States, nearly 1 in 7, live with chronic kidney disease, according to statistics from the National Kidney Foundation. Tens of millions more may not even know that their kidneys are under strain. In the early stages, symptoms may be barely noticeable, but poor dietary choices can accelerate complications. One of the foods that requires special attention is broccoli. At first glance, broccoli appears to be a healthy vegetable rich in fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. However, in the context of kidney disease, its nutritional profile can work against the body. First, broccoli contains a high amount of potassium, about 300 milligrams per 100 grams. Second, it contains oxalates, compounds that can accumulate in the body and contribute to kidney stone formation. A healthy person's kidneys can handle this load, but with reduced kidney function, the body may not be able to excrete excess potassium or oxalates effectively. This can lead to symptoms such as weakness, arrhythmia, numbness, and even irregular heartbeat. A 2023 study by the University of California, San Francisco Renal Nutrition Center involved 97 individuals with stage 2 and stage 3 chronic kidney disease. Participants who consumed broccoli at least 3 times a week had on average potassium levels 18% higher than those who eliminated broccoli and other high potassium foods from their diet. Within 6 weeks, 22% of the patients experienced worsening kidney symptoms. Dr. Jose Mendez, a nephrologist from Arizona, recalls the case of a patient, Jason Richards, 65 years old. Jason was receiving treatment for hypertension and type 2 diabetes, both of which had already affected his kidney function. In an effort to cleanse his body, he switched to a plant-based diet with broccoli as a central component. After 1 month, he developed swelling, his blood pressure became unstable, and lab results showed a sharp increase in potassium. Once broccoli was removed from his diet and he switched to a renal-specific meal plan, his levels returned to normal within 3 weeks. If you have kidney disease, even in its early stages, it is important to limit foods that are high in potassium and oxalates. This includes broccoli. Do not consume more than 50 to 70 grams per day, and only after boiling it for at least 15 minutes at a temperature of no less than 95 degrees Celsius, 203 degrees Fahrenheit. This helps reduce potassium to safer levels, and it is essential to consult a nephrologist to create a personalized diet plan. Problem 6. Broccoli may reduce the effectiveness of certain medications. In the United States, more than 131 million people take prescription medications daily, nearly half of the adult population, according to data from the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. The most common prescriptions include medications for thyroid conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, and blood thinners. Many of these individuals try to eat healthily and include broccoli in their diet, unaware that this seemingly beneficial vegetable can interfere with how these drugs work. Broccoli contains specific compounds, glucosinolates and isothiocyanates, that activate liver enzyme systems, particularly a family of enzymes known as cytochrome P450. These enzymes accelerate the breakdown and elimination of many medications from the body. As a result, the drugs may become less effective or may be cleared from the bloodstream too quickly to have the desired impact. This is especially risky for people taking thyroid hormone medications, blood pressure drugs, and anticoagulants such as warfarin. A study conducted in 2021 by the University of North Carolina Eshelman School of Pharmacy involved 118 patients with hypothyroidism and deep vein thrombosis. Over an 8-week period, researchers monitored one group that regularly consumed broccoli, approximately 100 grams per day, and a control group. In the broccoli group, there was an average 22% reduction in the therapeutic effect of levothyroxine, as well as unstable INR levels in patients taking warfarin. These findings confirm that broccoli can interfere with drug metabolism. Dr. Mary Higgins, a practicing pharmacologist from Denver, recalls one of her patients, Trevor Radin, 59 years old, a retired firefighter. Trevor was taking blood thinners after experiencing a thromboembolism. He had adopted a vegetable-rich diet that included daily servings of steamed broccoli. After 3 weeks, his test results showed a dangerously low INR level. The medication was not acting in time. Once broccoli was removed from his diet and the dosage was adjusted, his condition stabilized. If you're taking medications, especially thyroid hormone replacements or anticoagulants, it is essential to consult your doctor before consuming broccoli on a regular basis. If you choose to keep it in your diet, limit the amount to 50 to 70 grams no more than twice per week and make sure it is cooked by boiling or stewing it for at least 10 minutes at a temperature above 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit. Additionally, take your medications at least 3 hours after eating broccoli to reduce the risk of drug interactions. Problem 7. Broccoli increases stomach strain in cases of gastritis and ulcers. Today, more than 25 million Americans live with gastritis, erosions, or peptic ulcer disease, according to data from the Cleveland Clinic Center for Functional Medicine. In most cases, the condition progresses silently, without sharp pain, but with constant burning, heartburn, heaviness, and nausea. In such situations, even a single problematic food can significantly worsen the condition. Unfortunately, broccoli is often one of those foods. Many patients with gastritis try to eat healthily and include broccoli as a source of fiber, but they overlook one important detail. It contains tough, coarse fibers and sulfur-containing compounds that irritate the inflamed lining of the stomach. This leads to an increase in acidity and the secretion of gastric juices, which, in turn, worsen inflammation, cause spasms and burning sensations, and can even trigger a recurrence of ulcers. In a 2022 study conducted by the University of Michigan Digestive Health Center, 163 patients with chronic gastritis and peptic ulcers in remission were asked to include boiled broccoli in their diet. Within 5 to 7 days, 52% of them experienced a flare-up of symptoms: heartburn, dull pain in the upper abdomen, and a burning sensation beneath the breastbone. After broccoli was removed from the diet, all symptoms disappeared without the need for medication. Dr. Jordan Mason, a gastroenterologist from Sacramento, shared the case of his patient, Linda Norton, 66 years old, of Africa. After completing treatment for an ulcer, she adopted a gentle diet in which broccoli became her main side dish. After 10 days, the pain returned. Linda believed it was due to stress, but a gastroscopy revealed irritation of the stomach lining. After eliminating broccoli entirely and replacing it with stewed carrots and potatoes, her stomach recovered within 2 weeks. If you have gastritis, high acidity, or peptic ulcer disease, you should completely avoid raw broccoli. Even stewed broccoli can trigger a flare-up. It may be reintroduced into your diet only during full remission and in very small amounts, no more than 50 grams, and only after boiling for no less than 15 minutes at a temperature above 95 degrees Celsius, 203 degrees Fahrenheit. If you experience any symptoms such as heartburn, burning, or pain, Stop eating broccoli immediately and consult a gastroenterologist. Problem 8. High risk of pesticide exposure. According to the 2024 annual report from the Environmental Working Group, broccoli was listed among the foods most frequently found to contain pesticide residues, even after standard washing. Out of 100 samples tested in laboratories across California, more than 70% contained traces of at least one pesticide, and 32% contained 3 or more chemical substances. Although the detected levels did not exceed legal limits, doctors are concerned that the combination of multiple types of pesticides may pose a chronic risk to liver health and the hormonal system. Pesticides accumulate in the body gradually. In the early stages, there may be no visible symptoms, but over time, especially in individuals over the age of 50, unexplained hormonal fluctuations, sleep disturbances, fatigue, weakened immunity, and trouble concentrating can develop. The liver, as the body's main detoxifying organ, is the first to suffer under this constant load. A study conducted by the University of California Davis School of Medicine in 2023 found a link between the consumption of conventionally grown broccoli and elevated liver stress markers in patients over the age of 60. During an 8-week experiment, participants consumed 150 grams of supermarket broccoli daily. Blood tests showed an increase in ALT and alkaline phosphatase levels by 15 to 20%. After switching to organic broccoli, these markers returned to normal within a month. Dr. Nancy Hoffman from Portland, an endocrinologist, recalled a patient, Ron Williamson, 61 years old. He had switched to a clean diet in which broccoli was his main side dish. After about 6 weeks, he began experiencing sleep problems, insomnia, morning nausea, and low energy levels. His liver enzyme levels were elevated. When Dr. Hoffman discovered that he had been eating non-organic broccoli daily, she advised him to remove it temporarily. Within 2 weeks, his test results normalized, and organic broccoli was reintroduced to his diet in moderation. When purchasing broccoli, always check the source. Choose organic varieties, especially if you eat it frequently. Even organic broccoli should be washed in a solution of water and white vinegar. 1 tablespoon of vinegar per 1 liter of water for 5 minutes, then rinsed thoroughly with clean water. If you eat broccoli daily, limit the portion to 100 grams and rotate it with other vegetables. Problem 9. May cause excessive sweating and unpleasant body odor. Body odor problems affect millions of Americans. According to a survey conducted by the National Institute of Health, Behavior and Environment, 28% of respondents over the age of 50 noticed that their body smells different compared to when they were younger. There can be many reasons for this, from hormonal changes to skin microbiome shifts. However, few people associate this issue with what is on their plate. Yet broccoli, like other cruciferous vegetables, can be a cause of increased sweating and strong body odor. Broccoli contains sulfur compounds, particularly sulforaphane and allyl isothiocyanate. During digestion, these compounds break down into substances that are released through the pores of the skin and the lungs. In some people, the body handles this without noticeable effects. In others, the odor becomes persistent and strong, especially with regular consumption of raw broccoli or in cases of weakened liver function, which limits the body's ability to neutralize the byproducts. In 2022, the University of Pennsylvania Department of Dermatology published a study that examined changes in body odor among 74 volunteers who consumed raw broccoli daily for 3 weeks. In 39% of cases, there was a noticeable change in the smell of sweat, especially in the armpits and back area. In 19% of participants, the odor became so pronounced that it was noticeable on their clothing just a few hours after showering. Dr. James Livingston, a dermatologist from Minneapolis, shared the case of Jane Carter, 55 years old, who complained that even deodorant had stopped working. She led a healthy lifestyle and assumed the odor was simply age-related. However, after a detailed review of her diet, it was found that she was eating up to 200 grams of broccoli every day. After removing broccoli from her meals for 2 weeks, the odor disappeared. When she reintroduced the vegetable, but only in boiled form and no more than twice a week, the odor did not return. If you notice a change in body odor after switching to a healthy diet, try removing broccoli temporarily, especially in its raw form. In most cases, this is enough to resolve the issue. To reduce the concentration of sulfur-containing compounds, boil broccoli for 10 minutes at a temperature above 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit, and limit the portion size to 50 to 100 grams per meal. Problem 10. May worsen small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO. Today, in the United States, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, abbreviated as SIBO, is diagnosed in more than 12 million people. However, according to the American College of Gastroenterology, the actual number of those affected is 2 to 3 times higher, since many individuals treat the symptoms without knowing the true cause. The main complaints include bloating, cramping, diarrhea, rumbling, and a feeling of fullness, even after light meals. SIBO means that bacteria, which are normally supposed to live in the large intestine, accumulate in the small intestine. These bacteria begin actively digesting food, especially fiber and complex carbohydrates, producing large amounts of gas. Unfortunately, broccoli is on the list of foods that should be avoided with this condition. It is rich in insoluble fiber and raffinose, a fermentable carbohydrate that becomes fuel for bacterial fermentation. As a result, even a small amount of broccoli can sharply trigger symptoms in individuals with SIBO. A study conducted by Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles in 2023 involved 82 patients with a confirmed SIBO diagnosis. After broccoli was added to their diet only 80 grams per day, 58% experienced worsening symptoms within just 3 days. Once broccoli was eliminated and a FODMAP diet was introduced, improvements were observed within 1 week. Dr. Juliana Wright from Houston monitored a patient, Peter Romano, 48 years old, who developed symptoms 2 months after switching to an anti-cancer diet, a cancer diet rich in broccoli, cabbage, and garlic. He was suffering from nighttime bloating, cramping, and bowel irregularities. A breath test confirmed the SIBO diagnosis. Broccoli was completely removed from his diet, and within 5 days, symptoms began to subside. His diet was adjusted and broccoli was not reintroduced until 2 months later, and only in small amounts, stewed no more than once a week. If you have been diagnosed with SIBO or suspect it based on your symptoms, eliminate broccoli completely for at least 4 weeks. During this time, follow a low FODMAP diet, avoiding all cruciferous vegetables. Only after symptoms have fully disappeared should you consider reintroducing broccoli. In boiled form, no more than 30 to 50 grams per serving and no more than once a week. At the first sign of worsening symptoms, remove it again. Next, I recommend checking out these videos, and don't forget to leave your likes and comments. I'm looking forward to them.